Welcome back to Ravenous Babble. My name is Dan, and it's time for another Market Babble. But before we get into that, I thought I'd show you guys something special. My Flesh and Blood collection shelf is finally done, more or less. It's still missing the centerpiece, but I'll be getting that shortly. This is actually backlit as well. I can show you that. It's about as dim as it gets, and it gets pretty damn bright. But for right now, I have the U.S. Nationals map and the Pro Tour Baltimore map on display, just to fill the dead air, more or less. But I've got 8 boxes in here. I've got 4 boxes on top. You can't really see them right now. Got some shelves that actually have some grooves in them to hold slabs, whichever way you might want. The shelves are adjustable. This thing is fantastic. My uncle made it for me. He's awesome. He's quite the handyman, and I went to him asking for literally 3 rows that hold 4 boxes each, and he said, "Hold up, what if we did this?" And I was like, let's do it. So yeah, now we have this. It's great. I love it. But anyway, let's jump into the market. Alright, so we're going to talk about quite a bit today in the Market Babble, with the front end mostly being based on Mechanologist. And that's because Thomas Dowling took calling Melbourne by storm. He had a whopping 14-0 record going into the finals, which he unfortunately lost. But he did lose to an Missouri player, so congrats to Ben Dodd. More or less the progenitor of Redline Missouri. If anyone deserved a win at a calling on Missouri, it was you, my guy. So congrats. But Thomas Dowling, out here on Dash.io, just tearing it up. A lot of Mechanologist cards have gone through the roof because of that. They've started to settle back down a little bit, and I'll talk about that as we go. And that's because people are learning how to play against Dio now. So we may see these prices continue to come down. They might go up more. It really depends on what happens this weekend at Barcelona. Last weekend at Battlehard in Pittsburgh, there was still one Dio in top 8. They didn't win, they didn't get to the finals, but their presence was still there. And I believe there was only 6 or 8 of them that showed, so it's still a pretty solid conversion. Magnetic Shockwave, about $35 right now. Early this week it was going for $40. High Octane, about $20, was going for $25. Pulsewave Harpoon is at $18 and was going for $30 earlier this week. Teklo Core going for about $15 earlier this week, now at about $13, $14, so not as much of a drop. Heist, this is one of the new cards from Bright Lights that Mechanologist has been using quite frequently. This card's going for about $21. It has been hovering around $20, $21 for a little while now, so this one's probably going to be staying at that for at least the foreseeable future, along with Twin Drive. Twin Drive went up to $50, I believe, the weekend of Melbourne. It's settled back down to $38, which is pretty good. Upon release, this thing was going for about $20, and I looked at it and said, I'm just going to wait. I'll wait till they're about $10, and I ate my words pretty quick. So I'm over here with no Twin Drives and looking at a $38 price tag. You win some, you lose some, right? I do expect these Mechanologist cards to continue to drop unless Dio has an outstanding performance at Worlds. If she does, then she does. And I mean, if she does, we might see some kind of ban. Who knows? Especially if she wins. If she wins and gets 300 points out the gate after being released, she might need something taken out. Moving on to adaptive plating. This one, I think, was around $15 when I picked mine up the week before Melbourne, and it shot all the way up to $50. It's starting to settle back down, but this being a legendary that you could potentially run 3 of, technically, might be one that takes a little bit longer to cool off. Would I buy in at $44, $45? Probably not. It seems a little pricey. This one will probably continue to cool off along with all of the Mechanologist cards. It's just going to take a little bit of time. If you're looking to get into any Mechanologist stuff, I would wait. Personally, but we'll get into how my opinion could also backfire later in this video. Let's talk about Teklo Foundry Heart. This thing, oh my word. This was around $100 before Bright Lights came out. Look at this. $28, that's a steal for how good this chess piece is. Honestly, I think this is indisputably top 3 chess piece in the whole game. Yeah, if you're looking to play mech, $27, $28, this is great. Just get on it. Masterwork Cog, our Mechanologist Fabled. Yeah, $48 and dropping daily. And we know the main issue here, the reason why this thing isn't seeing any play is more than likely because the item that you put a Steam counter on has to have crank. If it didn't have that, I don't know how good it would be. Maybe in testing it proved to be way too good, but I think I'd like to see a world where it didn't have that text, to be honest. Alright, let's talk about some staples. You know the drill. Find All Spring Tunic. We've finally seen the reprint, the price is settled, and we're looking at around $70 to $72. It kind of bounces back and forth. I've seen some prices in the 60s as well. This is a great price to get your Tunic at. And there are some people that are saying that Tunic is going to get banned eventually. That's not going to happen. Don't worry about that. Tunic is getting reprinted because it is a very played card, and people want to play with it, and the price was too much. So here it is. They're not lowering the price so that the card will get banned and people won't feel bad about it. People will feel even worse about it at that point because they've finally been able to get one for cheap. Living Legend format or not, that doesn't mean that they're going to ban it in CC just because there's somewhere else to play it. So yeah, if you need a Tunic, great time to get a Tunic. Great time to start playing the game on that front. And on that note, Crown of Providence, still around $80. The Dusk Till Dawn one is settled at this point and is slowly starting to rise. But if you consider that this was, what, $120 for the rainbow foil, at a pretty low point, and then around $200 by the time they announced the reprint, this being $80 for the non-foil, or even $80 for the rainbow foil from Uprising, that's a great deal. Honestly, at this price difference, get the rainbow foil because it's gonna go up in price more than the non-foil. And I mean, if you want to be a big baller, you know, get the cold foil. But that's also around $250. Continuing with staples, we've got Command and Conquer. This one and the other two we're about to talk about, Enlightened Strike and Art of War, they haven't really done much. E-Strike goes back and forth. It was 35, I think, earlier this week. It may have just been a low supply. And Command and Conquer around $75 to $80. Pretty normal. I will say now, and I'm going to mention this in my heavy hitters episode as well, with the way they've been reprinting cards, Command and Conquer I think is the only outstanding card that hasn't been reprinted. And you might argue with me and say things like Codex of Frailty or E-Strike or Art of War, but Codex is new. E-Strike and Art of War I think are at a healthy place when it comes to their price, at least for now. I think they will need to be reprinted eventually. But Command and Conquer, I think, is the only outstanding one that needs to be reprinted. We've got Crown, we've got Tunic, and I'm pretty sure that Command and Conquer is going to get reprinted in the expansion list in heavy hitters. If not heavy hitters, I would say the set right afterwards. So if you're looking to get into the game, if the game seems too expensive for you right now, I would still get into the game. I would focus on Find All Spring Tunic and Crown of Providence for now, and maybe work on a deck that doesn't like running Command and Conquer too much. Maybe you want more in-class cards, or run Wreck Havoc for now. You know, I wouldn't buy into Command and Conquers at the moment. I think it's going to get reprinted before we know it. Fabled cards in general. We talked about Master Cog. Let's talk about some other ones here. Iophidia at 300 is pretty low. This is a lightly played one. There's some more lightly played ones before we hit near mint, but it jumps $25 here, $27 actually. So if you're looking to get an Iophidia, not bad. Hard to find out, also at 305, pretty cheap. There is also a decent discrepancy here, about $10. Arcanite Shard, as usual. I mean, I was a Viscerai main for a while, and 300's a lot. Card doesn't see any play in Viscerai right now. This one is cheap. It's $25 cheaper than the next one, but man, $300 for a card that really doesn't see play. It's a good collector's piece. It is the least printed Fabled, at least of the older Fables. I have no idea how many copies of Command and Conquer there are, but of the first 3 sets, this is the least printed Fable. Great Library Solana at 100, it's pretty solid. Corsham at 60 is crazy, but there's a thing to it, it's damaged. Corsham is at 71, roundabout. That tracks, more or less. But, oh, hold up. How much is the cold foil? Ooh. $90 for the cold foil. I might need to buy one of those. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Light of Soul at about 60. Plague Hive at about 83. Poor Blood of the Drakai. $30. Roundabout. What's cold foil going on this one? Oh, we're under 100 now. Unexpected. Grandeur of Alahai. This is one I'd keep an eye on, just because of heavy hitters coming up. I'm kind of wondering what they're going to do Fabled-wise with heavy hitters. There being 3 classes in the set, and them having showed us already that they're doing hybrid cards. We could see a Warrior Brute Fabled, maybe, to make up for the fact that Guardian already has a Fabled. But at the same time, we thought we were going to get a Shadow Fabled in Dusk Till Dawn because Light had a Fabled. And we got another Light Fabled, so we could get another Guardian Fabled. Who knows? I want to say that this Fabled coming up is going to include Brute in one way or another. Maybe it'll be a triple hybrid or a tri-class card, but I think Brute's going to be included one way or another. At least I would hope for that. We'll see what happens. Brute and Warrior probably ideal at the very least, just so Warrior gets something out of this, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was literally just Guardian. That's not a bad thing. I'm just saying there's not really precedent to expect one or the other. Let's get into Round the Table, Tolarian Community College. I gotta say something. Just come here. Just closer. Here. Is that you? Are you? Who are you? Why? You guys know that the box is like $50, right? You guys know that the box is like $50, right? Can you stop? Just stop. Knock it off. Get off TCG Player. Just calm down. All right? Calm down. What the hell are you doing? What do you see this? The price of the deck right here? What's that after shipping? Stop it. Don't buy these. Are you... Someone's making a buck, so hey, keep the hustle going, I guess. But let's move on. Bittering Thorns. I've been looking at you every day. Can someone sell me some damn Bittering Thorns, please? Please? I just need a few. Just give me a few. This couldn't be me on the 22nd. I don't know if I'm willing to spend $7.50 on some Bittering Thorns. I think at this point I might just buy another copy of Round the Table. Boulder Drop. Hey, we got some blue Boulder Drops. $10. Not too bad. Buy the box set. I got some yellow Boulder Drops at 50 cents. You know, they haven't been as in demand as the last 3 cards we mentioned. Mask of Three Tails. I haven't really seen this thing in stock, and I would love to have one for my Ira deck. Might just have to wait for the rainbow foil in the Social Play kit whenever they hit Ninja. They should probably hit Guardian first, considering Civic Steps, huh? But yeah, around the table. Yeah, just buy the product. If you're looking for any of the cards from it. And if there's any cards you don't want in it, throw them up on the market. You might get lucky, I don't know. I can't. Anyway, let's talk Christmas. The December 2023 Armory kit. We got a hero, we got a Christmas hero. Squizzy and Floof, so I guess maybe more accurately to say we have 2 heroes. And it's pretty funny because I was recently mentioning I wonder how long it's going to be before we get like an Icy Climber type deal, if you're familiar with Super Smash Bros., where you have 2 heroes. Squizzy and Floof. Not necessarily what I meant. I thought maybe like a flip back and forth, modal kind of thing, or 2 actual hero cards, or maybe 2 different abilities. This is fine. We're on the right track. Squizzy and Floof, it's adorable. If you make a purchase from your local game store of $85 or more USD, starting from what looks to be December 1st to, I don't know, maybe until they run out, while supplies last, you'll get 2 Rainbow Foil Cracked Baubles and a Rainbow Foil Squizzy and Floof. Pretty cool. Now the Armory kit, we've got 1 unknown playmat. We've got the People's Champion playmat, which is Squizzy and Floof, of course. Posters, of course. We have Extended Art Liquid Cooled Mayhem cards. We have Cold Foil Squizzy and Floof. It's going to be pretty cool. Let's take a closer look at Squizzy and Floof. So we've got at the start of each opposing hero's turn, they may create a cracked bauble in their hand. If they do, you create a gold token. So we finally have our gold merchant. Squizzy and Floof is a young merchant hero. And if you haven't noticed, I know it slipped past some people, but the Aria border is actually colored like Christmas. It's a good touch. This card's really cool. We found out about this at Armory last night and we all kind of lost our minds. But we lost our minds for another reason. Cracked Bauble, the cold foil. You get the rainbow foil from this promotion if you buy stuff from your LGS, which is pretty cool. These are getting bought out. I don't know if you know, I am an avid collector of the cold foil Cracked Bauble, the holiday Cracked Bauble. I'm just collector, by the way, don't get mad at me. I didn't go and buy all of these yesterday. I actually stopped buying these in August, but please don't get mad at me. I don't.
Is that all?
No!
I have more cold foil baubles. Yep. Those are all cracked baubles. About 213 cold foil baubles. I wanted to list them to sell them because I'd be stupid to hold on to them. I'm literally collecting them. Was literally collecting them. I'm not buying them at these prices. But if I come out here and list 213, the community's going to kill me. And I can't have that. So, if you want some cold foil cracked baubles, hit me up. Maybe we can make a trade. Yeah. So, yeah, promise. You know, it's out there. It's public. I had this binder in August. I haven't bought anything since August. I just like the card, and I was buying them for like $1.50 each. It was a cheap, fun cold foil to collect. And now that they're up in price, I'm kind of afraid to sell them because people might think I'm just gouging the market or something, buying out the market and then flipping them. No, this happened yesterday. I didn't overnight these, so there you go. So yeah, cracked bauble. Yep, that's quite the spike. Anyway, the last card I have to talk about today. Codex and Frailty. So, Codex and Frailty is the one I was calling out earlier for being the card that I just made the wrong call on. My buddy Russ. Sorry, Russ. Sorry, not sorry. We'll get into that. Yeah, sorry I told you to wait for Lexi to LL because this went up after that because Azuri won a calling. It's like the worst possible thing that could have happened for anyone that wanted to buy Codex because this card was trending downward. And then people were like, oh, Azuri is a good hero. Go figure. There's a reason I've been playing her. She's just not really fun into Dromai. Or Prism. But yeah, Codex of Frailty's up again. So, yep. That's fun. I would just wait on that. It should cool down a little bit. I don't know how long it'll take. I don't know if Lexi players aren't selling out, if they're just moving on to Azuri, or if they're just pivoting to Azalea. I would expect some of these to hit the market probably after Worlds, when some people start selling off their cards because they're only attending high-level events and maybe not armories, so they don't have a need for those cards when they're not in a competitive season. But yeah, that's all I have to say on this Market Babble, so until next time, stay safe, keep playing great games. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya. Shout out to the Ravenous Babble patrons who keep the channel going. If you would like to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/RavenousBabble and see which tier is best suited for you.